天下兴亡多少事，茫茫我身中，情悠悠。
So that we can reclaim this day and we can honor the Chinese lives that were lost during the construction of the Canadian railway system. Thought to believe about 4,000 Chinese railway workers. With that said, I would like to
Chinese railroad workers in Canada is situated in Toronto, which is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by
hard work and life to this country. I'd like to thank the senior group, FP Chris, Barbara Hall, the commissioner from before, and also the latest commissioner is Patricia DeGoy, Adrian Bapinton, Toronto York Region Labour Council, Wilson Lau from the Railroad Historical Association.
Historical moments in Canada that some of us who have now grown up don't know about, don't remember, and for a lot of us who are immigrants, we just came to Canada and we think, oh, July 1st, we should celebrate. I'm here to remember the contributions of Chinese railroad workers who built that link so that British Columbia could be joined with Upper and Lower Canada, if you remember those words, or Ontario and Quebec and Atlantic Canada, so that Canada,
for having me. 大家好，我是 Spadina Fortune， 小丽云 Chris Glover， 我们在这里纪念中华铁路工人的牺牲。I don't know. I hope that I'm doing my best. Anyways, thank you very much. I'm Chris Glover. I'm the MPP for Spadina Fort York, and it's an incredible honor to be here and to commemorate the sacrifices made by the Chinese railway workers. And there's a number of people to thank. I want to thank the organizers, Darren Wu, Bin Zhao, Mandy Anderson, and all of the volunteers for putting this together. I want to recognize the Ontario Chinese Seniors Association and the wonderful band that was here. I heard you playing earlier, and I'm looking forward to.
尊敬的各位来宾，大家上午好。今天是国庆日，举国上下普天同庆，共享快乐。在这喜庆的时刻，我们华人同胞不会忘记，140多年前，我们的前辈漂洋过海，万里迢迢，历尽艰险，百折不挠，从故土来到了加拿大我省做苦力。他们背井离乡，开山辟岭，历尽艰险，日夜操劳。他们流血又流汗，不知失去了多少宝贵的生命，才铸就了这个加拿大的经济大动脉——太平洋铁路，在加拿大历史上是首创，在整个国家建设和发展史中也是壮举。所有铁路华工 劳苦劳，他们修建了铁路，更是修建了人们走向幸福的桥梁。
On the other side of the Rogers Center, and I hope everyone has the opportunity to visit us. The TRHA has been involved with this event for at least the past decade or so. I've personally been involved the past 2 years. Of course, it was done virtually, so it's really nice to be here in person. So it's difficult to sort of come up with new things to say every year. So I wanted to talk about this year, which is sort of how large this monument is, which compared to like other monuments in the city is quite big. But I like that because I think it's appropriate because the contribution of the railway workers in terms of the loss of life was very large. And the railways were very large and they connected Canada, this part of Canada, with Western Canada, British Columbia, which had just joined the Federation.
Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from my husband, Max Mann, who's in Vancouver. And I spoke to him last night and he said, I wish I was home so I could go tomorrow morning to the commemoration of the contribution of the Chinese railway workers. I guess I grew up in Canada loving the trains. My family moved a lot. We took the trains back and forth across the country, and as we get to the Rockies, just sit with my nose pressed against the window, looking at those high, dangerous, beautiful peaks. I consider myself quite well educated. However, during my years in the Canadian education system, I never learned about the contribution of the Chinese railway workers to the founding of our country. Canada would not be Canada as we know it today, but for the hundreds, the thousands of workers who came from China to help build the railway. And as a result, Max, my husband, and I decided that every year on Canada Day, we were going to start our family events by coming here and commemorating the contribution of the workers, because we wouldn't have this day to celebrate without those workers. We met James and Vera Pond in the late 80s when this was first built, and they invited us to come to this event, and we continue to do that. But we also did a lot of research and continue to do some research about the history of BC. And just reminded yesterday, the first year anniversary of the burning of the town of Lytton. And Lytton was one of the difficult places where Chinese railway workers worked, camped. And we drove through there last summer and the whole town was burned to the ground. But I heard yesterday that before they rebuild, they're doing a lot of archaeological digs in that area. And they're looking for things that those railway workers had, the pots and pans they had to cook their food that we've heard references to, things they brought from China. And so also looking for archaeological things from the indigenous peoples in that area. But that made me happy when I heard that dig was happening, because it's saying that more and more Canadian institutions are starting to learn the real history of our country. And I think here's a day when we can give thanks to the people who helped to make our country a reality. Thank you.
Thank you for this invitation to join you on this day to remember the contribution of Chinese railroad workers in building this country. My name is Andrea Baddington, and I am, as you heard, a president of the Toronto and York Region Labour Council. I am someone who come to this country with hopes and dreams of a better life before coming to this country with hopes and dream of a better life before coming. But now that I'm here, I find myself fighting to make it a reality for other Canadians. I am a hotel worker who fought for the rights of my fellow colleagues and found myself in the labor movement. I think this must have been the sentiment of many of the Chinese railroad workers who came to Canada hoping for better life, but found themselves facing a brick wall of racism that white Canadians call yellow peril. The treatment of those railroad workers and the dangers of the yellow peril mirrors how many workers in the last 2 years, particularly workers of colors, were treated during the COVID pandemic, needlessly exposed to danger and harm. Labor speak out against anti-Asian racism, anti-Indigenous racism, anti-Black racism, and all the forms of hate and bigotry. Our Labor Council is committed to help dismantle systemic racism in our society, and it is one of the 5 pillars of our strategic plan. This is particularly important at the time when the Toronto police has finally admitted that they have been policing Black, Indigenous, and racialized community more than others. We have asked our local union to incorporate anti-racism as part of health and safety, given the heavy emotional and mental burdens of workers facing racism. We have other campaigns like Yes It Matter, which I like.
Good morning. Thank you for my call. Every time I say good morning or greet you, it's because it comes from the bottom of my heart. So again, and the spirits of those we gathered to commemorate today, let them hear you say good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I am Tricia Duguerre, Chief Commissioner of the Ontario Human Rights Commission, as your co-host was said. It is an honor to join you today to reflect and memorialize the lasting contribution which Chinese railroad workers gave to this country. Thank you for inviting me. On June 15th this year, we mark the 60th anniversary of the Ontario Human Rights Code. The fourth theme for the 2023 year is reflecting, imagining, responding, and results. Reflecting on this history is consistent with
Whose wreath this is?
Ontario Chinese Senior Association.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
怀念你的微笑，你的眼睛比太阳更明了，照耀在我们的心上。你可曾回想到你的故乡？多么寂寞，多么凄凉。要记住红河谷，你的故乡。还有那热爱你的姑娘。 的人。